Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has accused politicians of demarketing Rivers State. The governor, however, describes the damaging media campaign by some political leaders of the state against the administration as evil acts, warning that such actions were demarketing the state. Governor Fubara stated this at Kala Ibiama town, the venue of the inauguration of the 3.05-kilometer long Kala Ibiama section of the Kala Ibiama Ebelema Road and bridge in Opobonkoro local government area on Wednesday. He advised such self-serving individuals to discard such depraved mentality and prioritize the advancement, economic prosperity, and positive reputation of the state over their parochial interest. Fubara said, the previous administration had its own fair share of it, but it wasn't as barbaric as what we are seeing today, where people come out openly and say, yes, our mission is to demarcate the state. Are you demarketing Rivers State for Fubara? Demarketing the state has nothing to do with Fubara. It has to do with all of us suffering the effects. Governor Fubara noted that the obstinate ones had started suffering from the punishment of God, adding that he had no choice but to leave them to the misfortune they had brought upon themselves. Daniel, what do you make of this story?
Yes, first, congratulations to him for the project that he had gone to commissioned.
Inaugurate,
rather. And congratulations to the people that would use those places. Having said that, when he talks about demarketing, I think to all of us, whether those who are in government or not, the project River State or the project a state or something or anything or an entity, whether I want to be governor tomorrow, want to aspire to be a senator tomorrow, the project is River State. And I don't think his own is just a year plus in office. I don't think he has suffered the effects of demarketing his state. I think the likes of Rotimi Amechi, Yomson Wike, because once you are outside of River State and they mention River State, that's the effect of demarketing. When a state is mentioned, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it positive? Is it negative? I'm a travel consultant too. There are places that we have organized people to go to. It is not like I have been there. But the stories that we have heard about those places, you begin to feel the desire, the hunger to want to visit, to want to have a feel of it. That's why you see sometimes, you see the Arab world had created a niche for themselves. Those days, people used to be scared of the Arab world. But today, including Nigerians, people are moving to Dubai, are buying properties, people are going to Qatar for holidays. It is the thing that was created about those places, how you are going to enjoy yourself. So when you come to River State, in the context of what the governor is saying, what was the first thing? If they mention River State to you, you are outside of River State, what comes to your mind? A places where there is crisis, a place where there is no peace. And when you have that, the inflow of whatever that it is, whether for tourism's sake, whether for holiday, there are times I've had to book some persons from River State. There are companies in River State, but they choose to want to go to Lagos for a conference organized for its own people. And so what does that create? The VAT they talked about, which is consumption tax, what is supposed to do is bring people to River State, have more consumption in River State. And so what people do now, before coming into the city, I was speaking to somebody. They live in River State here, but they are going for Christmas holiday in Lagos. So you have money, because the movement of people is the movement of money. You have money now moving to Lagos. You have money moving to other places. And so I would want to beg whoever that it is, when we talk about River State is rich. River State is a peaceful place. River State is a place that accommodates whether both the indigene and the non-indigene. My father-in-law called my wife. There was a time there was this crisis, during that local government crisis. He called my wife, what is happening? I hope they are indoor, and all of that. And my wife was like, what is it that my father-in-law had heard? Probably killing crisis. Would my father-in-law, in all honesty, maybe he's sitting down today and thinking of holiday, would he want to come to River State? For example, Dangote built a refinery. The raw material is in this area. But he chooses to go to where he would find peace. In quote. Where the business will be okay. But the raw material is here, it's closer here.
Is this, when you talk about Dangote refinery, one would ask, is it a question of River State political crisis, or is it a function of the communities where these oil companies, are domiciled? The issues between these oil producing communities and these companies. I think Dangote refinery, it's actually a very different thing altogether.
No. See, I worked with. I was a personal assistant to the first man that became the RSS, the non-indigenous under Amici, Bolaji Ogunshaye, that became the head of RSSDA. He's a manager in Shell. Before he came there, he doesn't live in Port Harcourt. He works in Port Harcourt. Once he's done, they fly him from his office straight to Port Harcourt Airport. They fly him from Port Harcourt Airport straight to Lagos. The next morning, they flew him back. There are people till today who still work that way. Here in River State. I'm not talking about political crisis. That's why I said even the governor has not suffered anything yet. The Amechi time, the weakest time, they suffered this demarketing of River State, because if you hear about a state, what is it that comes to your mind? That's the effect. He has not suffered anything of that. I'm coming. Let me just round up this way. You see, when you talk about communities, we have communities everywhere. During the crisis, you hear Dangote said he paid almost $100 million to acquire those lands from those communities. Communities are everywhere. That's why some companies have what they call community relations. It's everywhere. But we should sit down as a people, begin to question ourselves that if we have a raw material and people are building refinery and they're not coming to where that raw material is, then there is a problem. Then we should begin to ask ourselves certain questions. But unfortunately, you see the Lagos model, for example. Whether you are a PDP, whether you are APC, whether you are ABGA, whether you are Labour, the agenda is one. Lagos is the best place. The agenda is one. Nobody tries because they want to take over power from the current government and then demarket and talk down on Lagos. It will not happen. And so we should begin to look at ourselves. In the Niger Delta, it is done. Not just River State. And so it's a time that we should reflect on that statement and begin to question ourselves, our attitude towards our state. What do we feel about our state? And so for me, I think that the toning that we have towards our state here in Niger Delta, we should tone it down. There is peace. Yes, there are crises. There is crisis everywhere. And so it is not just in River State, neither it is in the Niger Delta place. No, there are crises everywhere. But it is how we manage and talk about those places to the outside world. That is what they believe.
All right, very well. Chizi, what do you have to say?
Well, I think he has said it all, but I just wanted to put up this other leg. Number one is, for instance, Fubara said, well, they are not demarcating him. It's about the state. Of course, he said, not me, but me, if you look at it in the other way. But I can tell you that there is no peace without justice. There's no peace without justice. The first thing, when you talked about the community, giving the Dangote example, that you mentioned, when you talked about community and every other thing, like you said, it happens everywhere. But the first question is it not incumbent on the governor or the government so far to run a better policy that will allow those demarcating to be just because a politician wanted to say something? For instance, if what the politician is it questioning or interrogating the policies of government or the act or inactions of a government is demarcating River State? Should we now begin to lie because, for instance, should I go and tell Nigerian that Fubara has obeyed the court or that Fubara is doing the right thing by submitting a budget to a forum because the court called that this people they are no longer assembly, they are forum. Now that Fubara is taking River State law to a forum, that doing that is demarcating River State. They are telling the people that court times that number have had to repeat themselves to say, Fubara, the budget you are operating on, it's not legal, that is demarcating. Let him first. You see, when you go to the glass house, you have to be careful not to throw stone. Let him first do the right thing. And then all of us begin to think ourselves, are we demarcating? Is he doing the right thing and we're demarcating River State? If somebody goes to present a budget, there are a lot of budgets being presented right now amongst governors. And they're presenting it to the right assembly. Will you now say they are demarcating? Will anybody come to say, no, you're not sending it to the right assembly? If you do the right thing, there are so many things that you need to do. If you do the right thing first, then you now begin to tell us that you're demarcating us. So if there's anybody who is demarcating River State for now, it's Fubara. It's the governor. Because he is a person. It's not as if these things has not happened to, like, he also considered to that fact that there are persons
past administration
that has suffered, he said, but that his own, and he even went out to pray that, he's God. He now said, there are persons that the God has started, the judgment of God is already on, and that he knows those whose the judgment of God is on. And then he said he will leave them for that. So he's the one who commands God on who to judge and who not to judge. See, when a policy maker, a leader, you see, the words of a leader is higher than a bullet. The entire country can go to war today if Tinubu says one or two things. Tinubu can just say, let's go to war and there's war. So it depends on the way. If you are speech making, the language you talk, you are not even talking as a politician, you're not even asking them, you're not even talking as the governor, the leader. Fubara is the father of this great dictator, so he shouldn't even start demarcating River State. He's the one who is demarcating River State. There are certain things, I had this example. There is this pastor, one time, she came on the pulpit and she said, they said I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. And then when she came down, we're all together, and so she was analyzing that statement. And everybody said, oh no, that's not good if that's what they said. And I said, there is somebody I know that is demarcating, let me use the word of Fubara, demarcating the church. There's somebody that I know, and I would like to mention the person. She said, okay, fine, who is the person? I said, you, man. You are the person. She said, why? I said, do you know that until today, I didn't hear about what you heard? You are the one who made us, who amplified it. You are the one who, somebody will come and tell something, and then you come and amplify it. So certain times, the Bible says that leaders, that you have to shut down your ears so they don't hear the cause of your servants. When you are doing the right thing, do the right thing first. I understand there are persons who, it doesn't matter what you do, they will go ahead doing what they want to do best. But when you begin to fail processes, fail law, allow justice, there is no, when people say, imagine somebody coming here to say, then let me even use my family, then I go to the family and not providing food for them and not providing training. And then I come back there and I expect that everybody should give me that respect of a father. I have also lost that right by not providing. So when you begin to do the wrong things, people will say, some of us will stand up to say you are doing the wrong thing. In fact, Larissa, when you invited me for this program, I almost said, this Larissa want to stop me from the rice they will give me this Christmas. Because when I'm saying, I was saying something on this studio, a local government chairman that is my friend and my boy, called me and said, I wanted to send you something, but the way you're talking against us, I won't say it. So I said, what is this? That won't you allow me? Because I will not fail to say the truth. Let Fubara do the right thing. Let him do the right. Let him bring forth right policies, do the right thing. See, the best of development can be done illegally. And when it's done illegally, it is wrong.
All right, now, if I understand everything you've said here, it boils down to one thing. You're saying that Fubara is the one demarketing River State,
yes,
not politicians demarketing River State. Yes. Now, on the reverse, what you're saying invariably is that Governor Fubara is, by this statement, calling out politicians who call out the government for things that seemingly they have not done right.
Right.
And he's saying that saying these things that the government has not done right is what he interprets as demarketing the state.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Now, let's look at another angle to this whole thing. Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, in its recent statistics this year, said that Rivers State did not have any FDI. There was no foreign direct investment
yes.
in Rivers State.
Yes.
Now, you could see the level of economic negative impact this entire crisis has in Rivers State. Now, would you say it was a function of the governor, not according to you obeying the Supreme Court judgment and all of that, that is demarketing the state?
Okay, let me tell you, the little I know about FDIs, the foreign direct investment, and other investments, is that government is the highest guarantor of
because
investment.
they look at the stability
they look at the stability of government. They also look at the laws, because you see, even in their investment, for instance, there are PPP arrangements, you know, public-private partnership arrangement that will have to be signed by the government, and no good investor will do that when they know that you do not have an appropriation law. In the first instance, no government will do that. No investor will do that. They also look at what is happening, and they know that why would I give you to sign? Because the assembly will have to pass a law to accept such things. That's just the part of the things they look at. So if you are doing the right thing first, like he was mentioning, he was particular about Lagos. Let me even tell you about Ebonyi State. Before David Umahi, for instance.
You mean the current governor Nwifuru, right?
No, before David Umahi.
Okay,
before David Umahi.
Right, go ahead.
Before David Umahi, we didn't know. In fact, Ebonyi State was just is a passing state. Nobody looked at Ebonyi State very seriously. But when David Umahi came, that was the question I was asking. I said, David Umahi came in a very lean budget, did the right thing, and all of a sudden, conferences started flowing into David Umahi. And like he said, those things are money, traffic going into the state. A lot of people started going. I was privileged to go to Ebonyi State. I almost thought that I was in China. But that's because of what the government is doing. So if you begin to attract things and begin to do the things right, investors will come. And you know, Rivers State is a natural heaven for investors if you do that.
So for foreign direct investment not to come into Rivers State in 1 year, if it is a natural heaven, and for investors, and in this instance, foreign direct investment, not one, is recommended in a period of 1 year.
It means you are, as a leader, you are not doing anything. You are not doing right. You are not doing the right thing. If they check those things, those are the things, indices they check in coming in. No direct investors will come when your budget is not stable in the first instance. No direct investors. See, they analyze and study your budget. I hope you know. They sit down, study your budget, look at the legal framework of your budget, look at the feasibility, and see how they can invest. After all, they are not investing on a non-interest base. They have interest, special interest, and part of their interest is also secure their investments. And to secure their investment, they will know that you are in line with your legislator. They know, because the legislator is the nucleus of democracy. They know that you are not working with their democracy, so they know that whatever they have invested in there may be at a very big risk.
All right, very well. Daniel, you want to say something?
Just brief.
Yes, go ahead.
I think there is a thin line between governance and demarketing of an entity. But I don't want to limit it to a state. Take, for instance, the governor of every state, the president of every nation, are the chief marketer of those places, number one. People look at what they say because they have always told you what a leader says matters. We have seen before where some people went to a leader, they taped his conversation secretly, and when they make it open, the leader say, I resign. because the word of every leader matters. So people say, so if this man can say this in secret, it means that what he has been saying in the open, he doesn't mean it. So the governor must begin to change, because before now, commissioning flag off and other projects are point for me for insults.
I was actually coming to that, but go ahead.
For insults. You don't need that. I imagine Sanwo-Olu going to commission a project and it's insulting. Come on. Insulting them is elevating the issues. People are watching. Cameramen are there. That is not the only point where they hear you. They hear you far beyond what you think.
And anyone can interpret what you have said.
And so let him be careful of what he says. To me, I was telling someone, I said, I was saying it on radio, one of your sister radio, and I said, let him always, keep to his script of when he goes to commission a project. Script have been written. Leave my enemies, leave those issues. People would oppose you, whether you like it or not. People want to occupy that office that you occupy. Legally, they are members of those society. They have legal grounds to also want to become governor. And so, you must begin to let them know that there is more that brings us together than this insult. The governor should please first remove those insults. Those are unnecessary. 2, we must begin to see that when crimes are committed, they are quickly brought to justice. We have had 3 or about 4 bomb explosions, not anywhere in Nigeria in the last 1 year. It's only in Rivers State. People are watching. People are seeing you. Your House of Assembly was bombed. One other bomb exploded along the road where people were protesting. One happened in the APC secretariat. Then one happened in APP. People are watching. Even in crisis-ridden places like Borno and others, bombs don't just go. Even when bomb goes off, what could have happened? Bomb goes off here, and everywhere is quiet.
Business as usual.
And when the governor went to commission a place, he is telling people that he used to know the people who had. No, come on. So we should now begin to look at Rivers State as our baby. Yes, is the one in care today. He will go, whether he likes it or not. Whether 4 years or 8 years, he will go. Another person will come to that office. But the baby is the state, the institution, the entity is what we should care for more. Because whatever that we say has implication regarding where we come from. Yeah. So that's why I said that when people hear about Rivers State, the things that come to their mind, let's even have some people do a sample outside of Rivers State to say, okay, when you hear Rivers State, what comes to your mind? Because I can tell you today, like he said, before this man came on board, the now Senate president, we begin to hear Akwa Ibom, he sold, people go to, we were booking those days, people go to
when he was
governor. People began to move. He tells his people to come back and stop doing house helps around the world. Yes. That they should come back home. Yes. People, he built places. People began to go there. When Donald Duke was governor of Cross River State, we used to have between 27 to 29 the Calabar Carnival and all the resort that he built and other. He brought people to the state.
And tradition. And
yes, so that once we mention Cross River State, what comes to your mind is tourism. When they mention Akwa Ibom that time, what comes to your mind is that you go there, he built stadium. Now that we play national teams there, what does that mean? He brings international people to his places. What then do we talk about River State? It doesn't mean that everybody agreed with Akpabio. Not everybody agreed with him, but Akpabio did not elevate those things up. He left them. When he's commissioning the project, he talks about the project, talks about the state. He doesn't elevate people who are his enemies, who are his this. He didn't talk about those things. But when politics come, they play politics. So I would say to the governor that he's the #1 chief marketer. And so what he says matters. And he should be careful with the things that he says.
All right. Very well, Chizzy, you said you wanted to add something.
No, of course. I just wanted to say that, giving, for instance, the Akwa Ibom that he mentioned, the former governor, Victor Atta, led a sustained opposition to Ababio. For 8 years, a sustained, when a former governor leading the opposition, you know what, where did
strong.
That? But Ababio never did that. Imagine Fubara going to inaugurate that road that he's saying. Imagine Fubara going there and to say, hey, don't mind what you are hearing. We are all at peace. It's just politics. We are good here. We will settle. Don't mind politicians. Don't follow us. We will settle. This is my Oga. I am this. I'm beginning to go. Even if it's going in another way. That is not, you can't come and begin to accept defeat. You know, this defeatist mentality to say, hey, no, you are demarketing us, you are doing that, you are doing that, you are doing that. Like he said, he is the chief marketer. That's why I said he's also the chief demarketer, if there's a word like that. He's the one who is demarketing us. Because apart from even the process that he's not accepting, imagine him that will say, oh no, I'm not accepting the assembly member. What will an intelligent person say? You know, I wanted to help them I wanted to help the assembly to recognize them. The question is, so is it in the place of the governor to recognize an assembly or not? You are saying things that people are looking at those things. Now there is a popular saying in Port Harcourt. I called somebody yesterday and I said, look, my friend, if you don't give me this thing, if you don't give me, because it's my friend, I was like, oh boy, if you don't give me this thing, you see what I will do to you. He said, oh boy, you don't feel do more than sin. That meaning that there is nothing you can do that is more than, so betrayal, sin is the headquarter. So anybody can betray me. It's not, so sin has done the worst. So you can do just less than what is it. Imagine what that kind of thing. So people are already looking at it, and people are beginning to realize that. And you tell them, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. The governor was going there was going to be PDP executive meeting, you know. Before the 18th of that meeting, the governor had already come here to say, don't worry, I'm going to change the national chairman, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when he couldn't change it, what would people say? People will come and take on you now. So like he said, speak like a leader. Talk like a leader. Talk like the father of the nation. Block your ears to certain things. And even take it and come out to say, no, don't worry, we are doing well. God will help us. Other than coming to say, no, he mentioned how many bombs that exploded. And then he chooses one. And even that one he chose, he has already preempted the judgment to say that, look, I know those who did it and those who didn't do it. He is already knowing. Today, now, he has already known the people that God is punishing.
Okay, because of his statement that some of the people who are demarketing the state are being punished by God.
Already, yeah.
There. All right.
And so, that he's not going to allow, he's going to allow them, allow God do what he's doing. So he's the one who gives God permission.
All right.